Fighting Talk back again, and today I'm delighted to be joined by Phil DeFries ahead of his title defence next week on KSW against Thomas Narkun. Phil, how have you been, mate? It's been a different 12 months. You've still managed to fight, but how's it been in the lockdown for you?
Oh, it's been challenging, but I've managed to have a good fight camp and everyone's safe and happy, and that's the main thing,
If we look at this fight, for me personally, I thought after the first one, I didn't really see why the rematch would have been necessary. What were your thoughts on getting Thomas again?
I thought they were going to make the fight again, He's kind of cleaned out the division, and I have, and I think it's a fight that sells, but it's a fight I'm easily going to win again. So there we go.
If we look back, the last fight, Michael Keita, I mean, you'd said yourself the performance before that you weren't too happy with the way that you'd performed. You come out, you said we were going to see a more dominant, more sort of violent Phil DeFries, and we're certainly seeing that. How important was it for you to get that fight and take the fight the way you did in such dominant style?
Well, that's what I always do. The fight before that, I should have pulled out really, but I didn't because I thought I could still win and get paid. Well, that's the main thing for me, and often put a crap fight on for the fans, which I'm sorry about. But that's the real me, what you saw against Keita and what you'll see against Narkun.
With this fight camp as well, you've been fortunate enough being a professional athlete. You are allowed to travel for your work. You've been up at Scotland with Paul Craig, down at Liverpool with Tom Aspinall, Darren Till. How important has that been for you for this camp and generally for your development as a fighter to be training with that calibre of athlete?
Oh, it's great. I mean, normally I'll go to top team, but I couldn't get my visa. I was like, I'm gonna have to stay here, and I've stayed here, and I've had the hardest camp in my life. Those guys are killers. I think Tom could get the title one day, and Paul's up there right in contention as well. Killers. I haven't had an easy spar this full camp.
I was going to ask about actually Tom Aspinall. Of course, he's really made a name for himself since signing with the UFC. You've been fortunate enough to be around him a lot now. You've been in the game a long time. Tom's not been in it as long. Where do you see Tom Aspinall's career heading? What sort of trajectory do you think he's on?
Oh, he's going right to the top. Normally when one of these new heavyweights come out in the UK, people go, "Oh, Phil, go and spar with this kid," and I go and I spar with him and I stomp them. And I thought, I'll spar with Tom Aspinall. I'll go beat him up. First round, I thought, "Oh, there's no stomping here. There's no stomping happening here today. This is war." He's like one of the most talented athletes I've ever seen, and I've sparred with a lot of guys.
Something I know I asked you about sort of off camera to make sure we're okay to talk about. A photo you put on a couple of days ago. I think coming out of lockdown, a lot of people may have been struggling maybe with their mental health, maybe drinking a little bit more. And it was a photo you shared, and it was a comparison, I think it was 3 years difference. And on the left-hand side, it was yourself, and you'd said, I think you put a raging alcoholic on the post. And then the next one was with the title. What sort of got you out of that? What was your driving force to get out of the sort of position you were in to then ultimately winning that belt?
Just that I was very unhappy, I was mentally unstable. I was just a very, very unhappy person, and I was sick of it, and my girlfriend wanted to have kids and stuff, and I was like, I can't have kids. I'm not right, And I was at Glastonbury Festival, and I was telling someone, I was talking about fighting. I was like, saying, I could have been somebody, and I was thinking, you could have been someone. You can still be someone, Like, you're killing all these people in the gyms. This guy, that I researched it a little bit, and I found out, I didn't even know what anxiety was. So I found out what anxiety was, and I was crippled with it. And then just to the doctor, and the doctor, luckily for me, my first course of medication kind of fixed the problem, So I was very lucky in that respect.
For people, I guess, struggling coming out of lockdown, what sort of advice would you give them as a person who's been sort of maybe, as you say, crippled with anxiety and in a bad place to get themselves out of it and really motivate themselves?
I mean, I always say just be honest, If you've got a problem, you can share it with people who you trust, Surround yourself with good people and just keep moving forward, Don't be afraid to ask for help either, If people don't know you got a problem, they can't fix it.
If we go back to this fight then, I mean, you've been in there with Thomas before. You know what to expect. Do you expect the same game plan from him, or do you think he's going to change things up slightly?
Oh, I think he'll change things up a little bit. He's been whinging on that he had a bad hand and that the first time. I think he's kind of made modifications to his stance, but he's just going to get squashed again. He's got no chance, bless him.
I've got to ask you about it. That first fight, a slightly different attack, shall we say? Yeah. From your perspective, what went on there when Thomas sort of grabbed your pants, he pulled your pants down, didn't he?
He definitely intentionally pulled my pants down. There's no way what he did doesn't result in someone's pants coming down. If you grab someone's pants and pull them, they come down. I don't know what he was thinking, Maybe he's frustrated, just madness.
Phil, for you as well, social media I know is quite a big part of you interacting with fans now, and of course, having a joke on as well with your upcoming opponents. How important has that been for you to be able to interact with fans the way that you do? I know, again, going back to that post that you put on the other day, there was a lot of fans asking you questions, you were responding to them personally. I know that'll mean a lot to them. How important is it for you to have that connection with your fans?
Oh, I mean, if you're putting something out there about your mental health and someone's struggling and they're asking for help, it's easy enough to take 30 seconds to make a comment reply, it's like easy as that, And so I need to engage more on social media, it's not really my thing. It's like, as an older fighter, it's kind of haven't been raised on it, it's all a bit like, I'm getting used to it, but need to do a little bit more, I think.
If you look now, you're the most winningest KSW heavyweight world champion. What's that mean to you to have that sort of status? It's a bit of history that you're always going to have with you. Do you know what I mean? What's that like?
Oh, it's fantastic. I love KSW. They've been good to us, and just got to keep stomping them, until I die.
Finally, Phil, can I get a prediction off you for the fight?
I'll get a TKO in 2 rounds. I'm going to be on him now. I know he can't deal with me. He can't deal with us on him. So I'm just going to be on him from the start. And get a finish.
Just quickly then, sorry on that as well. Obviously, he's moving up to the heavyweight division. The size difference. Do you think that it will play a factor in the fight?
Oh, without a doubt. Like the entire last fight, I was on top of him. So I'm bigger, but he's carrying my weight and his, and he thinks he's coming in smaller this time. And it's not even he will be in middleweight. He's not like, if you look at Paul Craig, who's a legit light heavyweight, he's like fucking Superman, V back and that. It's like he looks like fucking. I don't know. He's not scary at all.
Perfect, Phil.
Oh,
Thank you very much for your time.